My position is simply that I do not believe in any gods. There is no empirical evidence that any exist. I may say sometimes that there are no gods, that there is no such thing, they just don't exist. However, I do not mean this in absolute terms. There is no such thing as an empirical absolute. That is impossible. However, we can have virtual certainty. We are as sure as we can be about anything that there are no gods, unicorns, dragons, fairies, gnomes, etc., etc. Bertrand Russell's celestial teapot illustrates why negative proof is a logical fallacy. If I said there was a teapot orbiting the sun out past Mars somewhere, you couldn't prove that it doesn't exist, yet there is no reason to believe that it does. There are also no logical arguments that necessitate the existence of a god or gods. Many such arguments have been attempted, however they all fail. I'd be glad to make a video about any of these arguments, so if there's one you'd like to see, just ask. Many arguments just try to make excuses after the fact about how gods could exist. I have no interest in addressing those because they are too easy to refute and they do not attempt to show that a god or gods logically has to exist, hence my lack of interest. If you were to postulate a universe with no gods, there are no characteristics it would have that would be any different from this universe. Existence of gods do not answer any questions or give us any information at all about anything. With no empirical evidence or logical arguments that stand up to scrutiny, there is no way for anyone to know of the concept of God. This proves that all concepts of God had to be made up by people. The fact that the vast majority of these gods are anthropomorphic adds weight to it. The gods behaving much like rulers of the time they were created in is yet more evidence. A god or gods that are just like those that were made up actually existing seems a very ridiculous notion. But this is just the icing on the cake. The case already had to be proven for me to even be able to make this last conclusion. There are many types of gods that are logically impossible, so we can be certain they do not exist. However, there is little point to give these ideas any thought, as I have shown the very concept of gods to have no merit. Apologetics are pointless even without having listened to any of the preceding arguments. By its very nature, apologetics is nothing but presuppositional excuses made after the fact. However, in this context, it becomes even more silly, just because the concept of God had to be a product of the human mind in the first place. Until there is some sort of evidence of God's existing, be it empirical or logical, any rational person must conclude that there are no gods.